Big night for Joe Mazzulla. I'm Bobby Manning, Josue Pavon. Defiant night for Joe Mazzulla and the Celtics blowout win over the Sixers, and nobody caught more heat after the Game 1 loss than Mazzulla. And I tweeted out his practice quote about focusing on offense and management on that end of the ball. That's our strength. Defense will be there, he said. And nobody seemed to like that. Nobody liked the answers, the rotations, things he went to last game as the Celtics lost. And tonight, they won largely on his principles, taking care of the ball, getting up a ton of threes, and doing it in an effective way. And he counteracted Jason Tatum foul trouble. 3 fouls for Tatum in the first half, charging in this game. Missed the final 8 minutes of the second quarter. They managed to win those by putting Brown in cutting position, having him kick out the shooters, and after a shaky start for Horford and some other guys, they hit those and had a big night from three.
CLNS Media's Celtics coverage is brought to you by FanDuel. New customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's bonus bets back if your first bet doesn't win.
Yeah, I mean, it speaks to the depth of this team. I feel like, I mean, you know, it's not every day, especially in today's NBA, where one of your top superstars, or arguably your top superstar, doesn't have it, and you still go out there and blow a team out in a playoff game. I mean, that's huge. But it also speaks to, you know, just the difference in Philadelphia's approach, right? When they have Joel Embiid out there. But look, what Joe Mazzulla had to say, you know, after Game 2, I get it. He wants to flex. He wants to say, look, I'm gonna stick to my guns here, so to speak, because he did say that yes, the Celtics could have played better defensively, but he also pinpointed how the three-point shots, just the attempts weren't where he wanted them to be, and he of course doubled down on that after the Game 2, saying these guys shot more than they did in game. These guys shot more in the first half than they did in the entire game throughout Game 1. So it's like one of those, like, hey, like, you know, see the difference here. But also it's the defense. Also it's the pride. It's guys, you know, responding in a way that we've seen throughout the regular season, but I don't know if we've seen it to this extent, right? To this magnitude, the way they responded after a loss in Game 2 here. So it's good. It's good. We'll see what happens. You know, I like what Marcus Smart had to say, that we forget that Joe Mazzulla is a rookie head coach, and, you know, he's still trying to figure things out. And that's something that we pointed out before the series started, that the coaching matchup between Joe Mazzulla and Doc Rivers, and how things are going to transpire. So this is all par for the course. You know, I just like how Joe Mazzulla can give you that side of him, right, after a win or after a loss.
Here's Marcus talking about Joe with a little Garden Report shout out, and
yes,
Joe asked him for a little credit after the game. Double clip here.
You know, everybody's, you know, we expect Joe to be perfect, right? Sometimes we forget, you know, this is his first year in this spot with the reins, and he's doing a phenomenal job. Shout out Bobby. He's doing a great job.
Obviously, how significant was it to get the fourth quarter to rest some guys?
Yeah, pace. I thought that's it. We got stops, and then we were able to get out and run, and we got great looks, and we made the right play every single time. Nobody wants to ask about all the adjustments we made from Game 1 and Game 2.
All right. Love the shout out from Marcus.
Okay, well, look, real quick, before we get to that, I mean, he did sort of get adjustment-like questions, but I guess what he wanted was his flowers. You know, I guess he wanted the kind of line of questioning where it's like, man, how did you pull this off, Joe? Tell us everything. I don't know. Is that what he's looking for?
Yeah, and we weren't that tough on Joe. I had some gripes out of the game.
I asked him about Grant, because that's not something he did in Game 1.
Yeah.
Turning to Grant that early, and he gave me a great answer on that. But
what did he say?
Well, he talked about the good things, what good Grant looks like, and of course we got a big sample of that, and also knocking down shots.
For? Because that is the one thing I do not like that Joe's.
Well, I was waiting for him to highlight the defensive side of Grant, and he pointed out the fact that he didn't think twice and just shot the ball, and like that's what we want him to do.
Right.
Then he mentioned the other things, but I feel like if you ask me, that's what changes things. That's what changes Grant's situation when he's making plays like that on defense, when he's diving for loose balls and he's passing the ball from the ground and hustling and not even looking at the referees because he's too in tune with the game. I mean, like, that's what makes Grant, and that's what leads to him knocking down shots and that confidence to knock down those shots.
Yeah, Marcus said they miss Grant for all the games he's been absent through this postseason. Only his third game tonight. I did grow frustrated with Joe on that front. You've made the case that maybe this set Grant up to play well, and I think he has handled the benching well and played well when they put him out there, accepted that role. We'll see how that goes into the summer as he becomes a free agent, but that's a good point. And defense, as much as this was an offensive win, I have a feeling Mazzulla behind the scenes, while not admitting publicly that the defense needed some work and some adjustments, they did some good things on that end. I felt like they started to ignore Tucker a little more, let him get his, bring some help in the lane. Rob played better in a drop position.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
Something galvanized Brown, Tatum, and Smart, especially along the perimeter, for just dominant defensive nights, particularly Brown on James Harden, 2 of 14. Now, is that coaching, or guys getting motivated, or is the coach motivating the team?
Well, I was going to say, it's hard to drop in 52.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're Marcus Smart, you obviously take that personally, and I think Jalen took it personally. And it's great to see your superstar, one of your superstars, lead on that end of the floor while also giving you one of his better scoring performances. So it's great, man. I mean, look, we gave Jaylen Brown his flowers for being the unofficial MVP of that first-round matchup for the Celtics. And here he is turning in a huge performance on both ends of the floor, not only setting the tone on defense, but guarding their opposing best player, or biggest threat, scoring threat in Philadelphia in James Harden.
Absolutely. And this has been the Garden Report here at TD Garden. Big credit to Joe Mazzulla tonight, who largely continues to lead this team well.
You got that one, Joe. You got that.
We'll hand him this one, and however many he has in him, this is always a good coaching game from Joe here against Philly, and the back and forth between Doc and Joe continues in Philadelphia. We will be there. CLNS Media, Celtics All Access has coverage of Games 3 and 4 in Philadelphia, as well as a Game 5 that's going to be back here in Boston on Tuesday. Check it all out. Subscribe to both channels, and for Josue, Pavon, Bobby Manning, this has been the Garden Report.
The Garden Report is brought to you by BetterHelp. If you want to live a more empowered life, therapy can get you there. Visit betterhelp.com/garden today to get 10% off your first month. This edition of the Garden Report is also brought to you by Athletic Greens. Visit athleticgreens.com/garden for a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase.